All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Alex Rocky Kim Show, episode 5. Today, we have the honor of being able to present my friend and brother, Noel Sena Jr., broker owner of Excellence Real Estate HD, and of course, his fabulous wife, Josie Sena, CEO of American Mortgage Leaders. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
And of course, we have our master brander, Mr. Malcolm. Thanks for joining us again for these episodes. Okay, so today's topic: relationships. Mr. Malcolm, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Noel and Josie. They really know the meaning of relationships. Everything that they've done in this industry for the past however many years, I've known them already for almost 5+ years. And his family's in real estate, mortgage, very integrity-wise, like top of the spectrum. And the people that he works with, everyone speaks highly of him, right? In front of him and all the way behind him. Everyone speaks very highly of Noel. So with that kind of value, sometimes we don't see our own value, especially when that's just the norm because of the way he is. But how valuable is relationships for someone like that in real estate? Yeah, let's start with that question.
Relationships is everything. When you build relationships, you don't have to work so hard in, what I call the onesies and twosies. Just getting one deal here and one deal there, doing a bunch of open houses because you're building relationships. So relationships, everything. For me, relationships is a lifeline of my business, period. So.
Is that something he can teach to his, is that something you could teach?
That is a skill set, and 100% it can be taught. And one of the main things with like relationships, too many times people, they focus on the deal and they focus on getting paid, but they don't focus on creating conditions for the people that's bringing you the deal, where it's not about the money. How can I create a better culture? Something that is just where it's just good to be around you. Like you see, I just communicate with this vibing. It's more about creating those type of conditions more so than just looking for business.
So out of your office, I haven't been there yet, but I know from what I've heard, Mr. Moreno, your office has an amazing culture. Why is that? I just want to have him kind of hear why.
I think that's a great question. I mean, I think I'm an easygoing guy. At least that's what I think, right? But the people that are around.
You're kind of tough, bro.
I mean, we got to wear many faces too, right, in business. But I think that kind of the culture that we already have our background, and I think kind of just bringing that into business atmosphere is a plus, because we're not just squares, right? We're bringing a little personality, a little bit of just kind of how we grew up, where we're from, and just operating. And I was asked an interesting question, earlier. And what was the question? You remember? You asked me something about communication, right?
It had to do with relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But one of the key factors, as I was thinking, was relationship was just being flexible with people and working with different situations on case by case. So I think kind of operating like that, I think, has brought some culture, and knowing that my people are people that work in the office. We could talk. It's not like, don't talk to him while he's just in the back, or let's flow, let's talk, what's going on, right?
Mr. Malcolm has some of the highest levels of relationships. Could you share some of the rooms that you've been in, and how are they leveraging their relationships?
Rooms like on social audio?
Rooms, exactly, with the T-Mobile CEO.
Yeah, so there was these social apps. Have you ever heard of Clubhouse?
No.
Never heard of that? You heard of Twitter, right? Twitter Spaces. So there was these apps, and during pandemic, that was it. That was life, 7 days a week. So when I went on these apps, the first day I went, I had 20 people in a room. You create a room, and the 20 people, I knew all of them. So basically I had nobody in my room. Then I would go to these rooms and I'm like, God, Gary Vee's on stage. I don't know if y'all know who he is. Ty Lopez is on stage. All these entertainers, Grant Cardone, the CEO of T-Mobile, all these people were on stage. And I was like, and I was in the audience and I couldn't even get a word in. So I said, you know what, let me start putting some rooms together and see how I can go. Then of course I got advice from people of what to do and I ignored everybody. They said you got to bring a bunch of other real estate people in and all be friends and vibe and people come to your room. But I was like, I don't know these people. So I just tried to do some of my own. I made it about the people. I didn't think about the CEOs. I didn't think about the celebrities. I ignored all of them. And all I did was brought regular people up. How you doing, man? What's your name? Boom, nobody knows who you are. Tell me what you do for a living. And, you know, how can I help you grow? So I started pouring into people. Then eventually, all those CEOs, all those celebrities was in my room and I was the main host. So I'm in there with Grant Cardone, I'm in there with T-Mobile. I'll never forget this, and this is when I know I really had it going on in that app. The CEO of T-Mobile put a room together. Grant Cardone came in next, and it filled up. This is during the pandemic, nobody's leaving. And I come in, and as soon as I came in the room, Grant said, Jerry Malcolm's in here, bring him up. And I went up, and it was the three of us hosting the room, and the CEO of T-Mobile said, okay, everybody, I'm here, we got Grant Cardone, and we got Jerry Malcolm, we're gonna coach you guys. When that came out of the CEO of T-Mobile, I was like, oh, this dude from the hood, man. So, but once again, the relationships was, what made me get relationships was focusing on all the other people. It's about y'all, not about the celebrities. And that's what made me do pretty big rooms.
So, Grant Cardone, anything, the latest with him? Like, he's a big Trump supporter,
Yeah,
right?
he is.
Yeah, I saw him at the presidential elections. He was at, what was the one in California? I think he was out in,
He's been in so many.
the latest one in California. But anyhow, now that Trump is president, right, for the next 4 years,
Grant just got more powerful.
I
Much
see
more
that.
powerful.
I see that, right? So how should we look at going into 2025? We're all setting up our goals for 2025. Have you started? I mean, you always start early in your office, right?
Yeah, we did a business seminar yesterday.
Already.
Yeah,
See, they're always on it every year. How many agents again?
110. something.
Okay. So 110 agents and getting ready for 2025. What are some of the things that you're planning for in 2025?
And we take it back to being intentional with our time. That's what I really want to focus on. And time is something that we spend every day, but sometimes we spend it too freely. And we got to be intentional with our job, intentional with who our business associates are with, and intentional with our marketing, and not just going out there and doing something, but being very specific, I think. And I just don't want to see people wasting time when they got goals. Just go after the goals. Our time is ticking anyways. Let's go and let's do some goal crushing. And so, yeah.
Does your team, out of the 115 agents, do they have, like, for instance, a certain percentage is focusing on listings only, a certain percentage is focusing on, or are they all kind of focusing on all of it? I'm curious, because is it better? Here's my question, right? Is it better to do one thing and be a master of it, or is it better to do multiple things? Like, which one's better? Because there's a lot of that out there. There's both sides. I've heard both sides.
Of the lending and the sales side?
Well, let's say an agent, is focusing on one thing, right? And they have a niche. Is it better to focus on a niche in 2025, or is it better to go wide and make sure that you have your hands in a little bit of everything?
My opinion, I know people say it's better to go. All the experts, in my opinion, gonna say it's better to go niche. But I think there's levels to wide. I don't think in real estate doing a couple things is really going wide, because those things are already part of the ecosystem or the transaction. You're already in it. I believe that one thing I learned, my biggest takeaway from this Grant event was not Grant, it was his partner. His partner runs the business side, and he was talking about scaling and your employees and your team. So I believe that if you have the right people on your team, that wide is still narrow. It's not really wide. So and another thing, I think real estate agents just need to get better. And one thing, Noah, I've spoke to, like more real estate agents than probably Tom Ferry, 100%. I've talked to about 7 million people in the last 4 years, and I've done thousands of rooms coaching real estate agents on social audio with Grant and all that type of stuff. And it doesn't matter if you're in California, it doesn't matter if you're in Alaska, it doesn't matter if you're in Detroit, they're all the same.
Real
And
estate agents.
They're all the same in whatever state, and they all need to upgrade. They need to upgrade.
What do you see as like the biggest weakness right now in 2025 of real estate agents going into 2025?
Well, I think it's to identify. You had a good question. I think it's to identify, definitely where they're at, okay, in their business. And you know, I read something interesting the other day. It says, you know, you can do anything, but you can't do everything, right? So, you know, spreading yourself thin is not good either. So, you know, finding a niche is important. Like, so, like for an agent, go after the listings, become a negotiator, learn the skillful craft of a listing agent. That's important. There's some people that don't like listings. They like buyers. Yeah, they'd rather work with buyers. So, and then in this market, what happened after the NAR thing? You know, we were still coaching listings. We've never stopped. So come and join, you know, the listings, get more serious with listings now, be more control of the transaction, right? But focusing on the skill of negotiating, focusing on the listings, I think is important for a real estate agent. Not only that, but how many people want to become investors later? Everybody wants to buy some property. You don't really find a property when you're out showing buyers homes. You find a property by looking over the distressed properties, talking to people and engaging in conversations that they're losing their property, and you can be of assistance to get them out.
Creating the problem, not creating it, but kind of like getting ahead of what's on MLS. It's before MLS.
It's not even like a lot of times we're not even looking on the MLS.
Not even going to MLS. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If if we have a pre-qualified buyer and there's a buyer's agent, yes, they're going MLS.
Right.
But if somebody's intentional with just the listings, they're not really going to MLS because it's already listed, right? So we got to go before the MLS and find the deals.
Right. Wow. Interesting. Josie, so you're on the lending side, right? How is that dynamic? Like, what are some of the pros and other pros, or any cons to that? Like, what's your experience?
Malcolm, he mentioned the ecosystem. So Noel had a good way of he has a good way of putting somebody in a sector. So then that way it's not him doing like everything. It's each person has their, so for me, it's, you know, I'm CEO of the mortgage division, and then the MLOs are underneath me. And so I get to take on that, so he doesn't have the pressure of having all those responsibilities, and then it's like, you know, like he mentioned, like you're spreading yourself thin. So I personally love it. I love the mortgage. I mean, I know you and I work together, so I absolutely love mortgage. I love lending. I have my real estate license as well, and I did okay, but I feel like I just, you know, the mortgage industry just went really quick for me.
So I can make this kind of prediction right now. Usually I don't give a forecast or a prediction, but I can give prediction because there's some information that I am privy to as of yesterday. Okay, so in our market right now, this is kind of exciting actually, because of some tariffs that weren't expected may get added now. We can expect tariffs to get added. There's going to be private money that enters the market like we've seen back in 2004, 2005. Now, what's different about this is we're talking 2% lower than your lowest Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac type of loan products. That's the kind of foreign money that's about to enter the market, and it's already entering. Yes, that's going to be a very interesting dynamic, and this is information I've acquired yesterday. Yes. So the products, and if the 30-year fixed Fannie Mae goes down to 5%, that means even lower than that, 3%. You know, in that range. Yes. So very. Some interesting dynamics about to happen. We have a good 4 years under this next administration. What do you think, Mr. Malcolm? What's the biggest benefit In your opinion, from the new Trump administration, have you ever have you thought of anything in that space?
I don't know.
I know you don't really
No,
care which way it goes.
No, but what I think is that it should encourage people, all the things that the negative people are saying, it should encourage them to work harder and to create conditions in their lives where that stuff won't really affect them. But I can't, well, I guess, because he's Republican, it's going to help us with the housing market, so it'll be that. But
Yeah, he doesn't talk about politics much.
yeah, I'm not a politician.
Me neither.
Yeah, but
I usually don't either, but this is like real estate.
Fresh.
Yeah.
It's fresh off the charts.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I will say though, I like that Noel is thinking about, when I say the real estate agents need to get better, I mean they need to get better at, you can take a class and learn the new laws about a listing and all that. That's
Right,
easy.
right.
But it's more of a challenge for them to learn how to build those relationships so they can have it's easy to fill a pipe. One relationship is 5 deals a month, just one good relationship. But you go, like I was talking to one of the realtors, and I'm not knocking it, but a lot of people like to go to open houses, and stuff like that, to get onesies and twosies. Yeah. But try to meet the Noels or the, people like that, the bigger people that build bigger relationships. That's my focus. It's a lot easier when you have more powerful relationships.
Powerful relationship.
Yeah, it opens up
like
much more doors.
One thing I picked up on Mr. Malcolm from episodes 1 through 3, education and educate the audience right now on truth. Like that's what the audience wants. That's what he validated for us. And I think right now people are very intelligent. People are very smart. People know what they're looking for. So we all, like he said, we all have to up the game because different values now are priced differently. It's not the same as before, right?
Yes.
So now I see communication and conversations.
That's it. That's everything.
It's not your typical, like I have to sell this person. They're really choosing us, and we have to be able to communicate that service.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
We used to, and not a knock, because y'all both look like y'all got 2 degrees probably. I don't have a degree.
I got a degree.
But so
It's important. Education matters.
We used to clown the people in social audio because all the people that were so educated, they were not the ones that the audience wanted to listen to.
Right.
Not
They
at
weren't
all.
the ones making as much money.
Huh?
They probably weren't making as much money.
Yeah. But some people would come with their little degrees, and we just be in there. We wouldn't always have subject and verb agreement, but we just be in there flowing, and they loved it. You would see sides of powerful people. You would, did he just say that? They're just regular people. They just have a little bit more.
What did Obama say the other day that
Yes,
you told me?
yep.
Did you see that?
I saw that,
Yeah.
yep.
He said, do you remember what he said?
Being around world leaders,
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
no idea.
You have no idea. You
nothing.
go into the room with them, and
There's
It's
some that are
nothing.
great and there's some that are fools.
Yeah.
You know,
It was good.
If
Wow,
I
wow.
expose the CEO of T-Mobile with the text messages that he would send me while I'm on stage, you guys would be like, "That is the CEO of T-Mobile texting you those words." A big baby, crying, Jerry, why you let her talk? And it's just crazy. These people are no different than anybody else.
I
And he's a
agree with that.
Fortune 5 company, not 500, big.
yeah.
But yeah, relationships
Relationships.
and conversations.
Conversation. Well, that's what kind of brings the relationship closer together. The powerful relationships, right?
I used to do rooms on social audio teaching people how to do bigger rooms. And so it made me write a guide, and the name of the book basically is called Conversations That Cash Flow. It not cash flow for real estate, but how can you cash flow with just people? And the biggest takeaway from me dealing with that with people is engagement. Like how to communicate with someone. We know you great and you got all this going on, but what about that person? Right. Like have a conversation on how's their day really going, things like that. But the celebrities wasn't doing that. People couldn't stand the celebrities. All they do is talk about their little success.
Yeah.
But
Do
go
you
ahead.
think being authentic matters?
You have you
Just because I
it's
feel
funny
like individuals that are authentic, it's like immediately.
I was actually scared to be. It's funny she said that. I was scared to be the real me because I thought it would turn some people off, especially the bigger CEOs. And I got challenged one time by someone in an aggressive manner, but I got to be professional.
Right.
So, but I got challenged very hard. So I had a decision to make. Do I go Jerry Malcolm or do I go 7th round? And I decided, Noel, I gotta be authentic. And so I fired back, and at that moment, a star was born. When I fired back and Grant jumped in, yeah, Jerry will fuck you up. It was just authentic is everything.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Yeah,
what works for
yeah.
Noel too.
Oh,
like he's
yeah,
just super
yeah,
authentic.
yeah.
You know,
Integrity, yeah,
and
yeah,
when
yeah.
he's in the room with the agents, or they know that they can just knock on he's just Noel. Period.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no matter who he's around,
Yeah.
which is good.
Takes a little, like, for the camera to loosen, like, for me, like, say for instance,
Did you need a shot, bro?
probably, but let's say for instance, back in my prospecting days when I was prospecting every day, I would go door knocking. I'm a door knocker in real estate, right? So I'll go knock. And usually after 5 to 7 conversations, then I start loosening up. Like I get my flow going. It's like a warm up. Warm up before the workout, warm up before the jog or the run. That was my warm up. I needed to talk to 5 to 7 people, stumble, stutter, and maybe sound what I think I messed up.
Now you're polished.
Right? But really the next one and the next one ended up flowing easier, and then the next one gets easier. And the next one gets easier. We just got to get it, for me personally, just got to get over that initial.
By the way, how do you stay so polished all the time? Like, all the time? You work out every day now?
6 days, 5 days a week we do
Okay,
it. Yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
we changed our lives like a couple of years ago, my wife and I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Doing it together.
Doing it
That's,
together.
Yeah, you
that's,
have to do it together.
that, I don't think anything brings a relationship closer than that. When you're working out together,
Yeah, before I used to
working
say, come on,
together,
get out of
yeah,
bed
wow,
already. The alarm's going up. Now she tells me,
Yeah.
hey, I'm up. Where are you at? I'm like, oh, shoot, let me get to, clear my eyes and let's get going. So it definitely works.
That's awesome.
And
Congratulations.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps, yeah.
This business, I think you need to work out.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Mr. Malcolm is an expert well, not a UFC fighter, but I think you can take down some UFC people. What kind of fighting do you do?
I used to compete in submission wrestling and kickboxing and a few other things. I actually trained some MMA fighters, the guys that came up here and whatnot,
Yeah,
AJ and them. But yeah. But I got a question for you, Mr. Alex.
Yes, before we wrap it up. One last question.
Yeah,
Let's go.
How do you stay so, because you're always energetic, inspired, wanting to just bring so many people together, just joyful and happy. How do you stay like that?
That's a good question. For me, the key 3 words that come to mind is "Come, Holy Spirit." Yeah, that's my source.
We
Yeah,
can let that
yeah,
breathe
yeah.
for a second. I like that.
Thank you today for sitting with us and starting a conversation with Mr. Malcolm, especially about relationships. We appreciate the relationships that we have, and Mr. Malcolm can hopefully share some of his relationship stories with you, and to maybe see if there's a match to grow in 2025 with Project 2025. All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode 5 of the Alex Rocky Kim Show. Thank you. All right, thank you.